Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video here. So I wanted to talk about something here that actually happened last week. And I mean, there's a lot of excitement right now built for the finale here of Invincible because the finale, I believe, is going to be airing tomorrow. And we're going to be seeing the reunion of two characters that we haven't seen really reunite in a long time. Or I guess I should say not specifically two characters, but it's two actors that are going to be reuniting for the first time, I think, in a really, really long time. And that is Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Steven Yeun. So yeah, I do want to talk about the big ending there to episode 7 of Invincible, and I also want to talk about some other Walking Dead stuff just in general. I'm going to be combining a lot of things in this video here. So before going further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all my Walking Dead content like this, and if you do want to see me cover Invincible, definitely leave a like. I haven't caught up on season 3 yet, so this is definitely a spoiler for me, but I'm totally okay with it. I'm going to have to catch up on quite a bit, and so I'm thinking of like literally just like binging the entire show today so that I'm prepared for the finale tomorrow so that I can actually do a review of the episode and talk about this, because I honestly, I never knew that I could get so excited about this show. Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing Conquest in this epic fight, versus Mark, who is obviously played by Steven Yeun. It's basically a rematch of Glenn versus Negan, and I'm really interested in seeing where this is going to go here in the finale. I'm so excited for this. The big reveal here actually happens at the very end of episode 7, where we do see Mark here confronted by a new character named Conquest. I believe this is actually our first look at the character here. And I mean, the casting for this was actually hidden until now as well. Like, it wasn't announced that Jeffrey Dean Morgan was going to be playing Conquest at all before this. So, I mean, that's kind of insane, honestly. This is why I really like surprise casting, because yes, it's exciting when you talk about stuff like that before the season. Who can this actor play? And sometimes announcing the casting before the show premieres, it's almost like, it promotes the show a lot more as well. But it really does help a lot when you have a surprise character like this show up, and then, the actor behind it is Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who is literally like Glenn versus Negan. And just like what happened all those years ago was honestly probably one of the craziest like television moments ever. And so to actually get like a rematch in some sense here is really interesting. And I am really curious as to where this is going to go, because obviously, like, I'm assuming Conquest, I don't know where they can go with this, but will Steven Yeun get his revenge, right? Like, that's what I'm really curious about with all of this here. It is really exciting, because the thing about this is, obviously if you're a longtime fan of The Walking Dead, maybe you've stopped watching The Walking Dead like many years ago, because that moment was a moment that I think a lot of people stopped watching at, right? Like, the show would get like tens of millions of views, and like, at that point there, I think a lot of people were like, this is just too much, because to see Glenn go out in that way was just a lot for a lot of people. Personally, I would say it was just the wrong time, for the show. I think, well, not just for the show, but just in general. I don't think a lot of TV shows did things like that. And I think that, as shocking as it was, I personally was okay with it because it happened in the comic. So it was an exciting scene to see. I just think that the cliffhanger was like the worst part of it. Overall, I think it was done right, but I just think, doing it as a cliffhanger and also killing off two people, that was the bad part. I think if you did it all in one episode and season 6 ended with Glenn's death, and it was just, we were left all summer just like literally Glenn died and it's like, now what kind of thing. I think that would have been way better. It would have been something so shocking, but it would have been, going into season 7, feeling a lot more hopeful. I think everyone would have felt a lot more hopeful for Rick and like, where is this going to go next kind of thing. But, they stretched it out way too long, and it ended up being this whole dramatic thing in the premiere, and it just carried over all season. And I think it just really hurt the show quite a bit. So, just seeing this now, it's like, obviously it's not Glenn, but personally, I do miss Steven Yeun, a part of The Walking Dead. I really do. Like, I miss him being a part of the show. Like, ever since he was gone off the show, he's never really came back and did like, hallucination scenes or flashback scenes or like anything like that. So to actually have this here where we see, in some sense, Glenn versus Negan again, this is going to be really exciting. And like, this fight here in like the very last episode here of season 3 is going to be truly so epic that I really cannot wait to actually talk about this. I want to talk about this more in depth because, I mean, it's just so exciting, but I just don't know a lot of what's been happening in season 3 because, again, I haven't watched season 3 yet. So I know that this is a spoiler, but I'm seeing this everywhere, and so it's like, yeah, that's just going to happen, but I'm not upset about that because, honestly, like, this made me want to go and rewatch it. I'll probably start with season 2 and sort of catch up with, like, what's been going on with the story overall, and then go into season 3, and then, yeah, we'll see how much time I have left before the finale airs here, but honestly, really incredible. I'm so excited to see where this is going to go here. And honestly, it's really cool because literally like Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be back as Negan in The Walking Dead Dead City in just 54 days from now. That trailer is probably going to be out in the next like week or two for sure. And then Negan as well is going to be getting Lucille back. So this season here, or not this season, but this year specifically is going to be like a throwback to like all the stuff happening back in the day with the Savior arc and all that, which is really exciting. Honestly, I can't wait for Dead City. I can't wait for the next teaser. I really just can't wait for the show just to sort of come back in general because I miss The Walking Dead. And also, I guess I should point this out as well. The Walking Dead Dead City Season 1 is going to be available on Netflix on Monday, I believe, like this Monday coming up. So that's March 17th. I'm seeing this from Collider, actually, and I know that it was supposed to come out at some point this month on Netflix. And so, yeah, perfect timing, obviously. Like, everyone's starting to catch up on the show, to catch up on, like, what's been going on with those characters. It'll be perfect right for when Dead City Season 2 premieres on May 4th. So, yeah, very exciting stuff. And in case anyone is new here, in terms of what's going on with The Walking Dead in general right now, because, I mean, it's possible you're watching this because you haven't been watching The Walking Dead, or you know about Invincible, you've been watching Invincible mostly, or you used to be a Walking Dead fan back in the day. The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 will be airing at some point this summer, and that's another spinoff focused on Daryl and Carol. We have The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live, which aired last year, and the showrunner, Scott Gimple, actually teased recently, about a week ago, or a little over a week ago, that it's entirely possible that Rick and Michonne could return, and it might not be in, like, you know, The Ones Who Live Season 2. It could be in a different, you know, way entirely. It could be with those characters appearing in a different spinoff, or in, like, a new series, basically. Like, he sort of just said we could see strange iterations of things with those characters, basically. So a lot of excitement here for The Walking Dead. You know, things are starting to pick up finally, because last year wasn't the most exciting. Things definitely felt pretty low for The Walking Dead, but as of right now, things are starting to pick up quite a bit, which is really exciting because as a huge Walking Dead fan, honestly, the direction of the entire show was, you know, really exciting there until after The Ones Who Live's ending. And then going into Daryl Dixon Season 2, it was just kind of like, what is this? And then you saw where Season 3 was going. You know, some of the stuff that they set up at the very end of Season 2 was also kind of cool. And now Scott Gimple's comments regarding Rick and Michonne's return, like, things are getting a little bit more exciting here. I do wonder where Dead City Season 2 is going to go. I feel like by the end of it, there's going to be a lot more setup for what's going on in the world. I think we'll see other characters return as well. And things are going to start to pick up here, I think, quite a bit. I do think that, like, they know, I mean, they could easily bring other characters onto these shows to make things way more exciting. So why not do that? Like, why have these shows focused on, like, these standalone stories for, like, no reason kind of thing, right? Like, you have all these characters that could show up that are part of The Walking Dead. That would make things really exciting. I mean, why not do that, right? But anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below on, I guess, your thoughts on Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing the role of Conquest on Invincible. And, you know, just, I mean, I guess thoughts on, I guess, literally having Glenn versus Negan in some way, right? It's the rematch. In my head, it is the rematch. I know it's a totally different story, totally different characters, but it's the same actors, and it's going to be a really epic fight. And I think it would be so cool if Mark wins in some way there. It would be really cool because it's in some way Glenn is sort of, he wins in some way. He gets his revenge, right? So we'll have to wait and see where this goes here. But that episode, I believe, is airing tomorrow. So yeah, and I also wanted to point out something. There was a recent, I guess, panel held. It was some sort of event or like Comic-Con sort of thing that happened where Paulina McIntosh, you had Cooper Andrews, and Laurie Holden were there talking about their experience on The Walking Dead and whatnot. And it was actually kind of cool because Laurie Holden talks about her last episodes of, you know, her being on The Walking Dead. And honestly, it's really unfortunate. A lot of stuff that sort of happened to the character overall. I mean, I've talked about this a lot over the years, but I do feel like I also want to go back and revisit it because it's something that, like, you just forget about over time. Like, I probably talked about this a couple of years ago, but, like, it really is, like, Andrea should still be around the show. I can't even believe that they actually killed her off at that point. Like, maybe she dies towards the end of The Walking Dead. Like, maybe that does happen. But, you know, I think that she was a very popular character, and the death she got was so random and almost didn't really service the story that well, that it's very frustrating to watch those seasons knowing what is about to happen to the character, because it just doesn't make a lot of sense. It really doesn't. And you know that like they knew that they messed up. I mean, if you just look at the showrunners in general, the showrunner for season 3 was Glenn Mazzara, right? And I believe he's the one who made the decision to kill off Andrea. I could be wrong with that, but from what I remember, that was actually what happened. And so the fact that Scott Gimple came in for season 4, I mean, I think says a lot, right? So I don't know. I just sort of saw that and I wanted to add that in here. Maybe I'll do a video talking about that when things aren't so busy and whatnot, because yeah, it was just honestly really unfortunate what happened to Andrea, and I wish she was still on the show. I mean, there's other characters as well that, you know, should still be alive on the show, like Carl, but that's a whole other thing, right? So anyways, I'm going to leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.